My girlfriend asked her EX to inspect her new man, brought his boys to intimidate me at my job. What they didn't know, I was an FBI agent. They're all begging me for forgiveness. All right, Reddit, strap in because this story is absolutely fucking insane. Like, movie-level insane. My best friend Mike told me I needed to post this here because apparently my life has become one of those revenge porn stories you guys eat up. So here we go. I'm 32, male. What most people would call average looking. Not ugly, not model material. Just a regular dude. 5 feet 10 inches. Decent build. Nothing special. I work what appears to be a boring office job at a nondescript government building downtown. The kind of place where everyone assumes you're pushing papers and counting down to retirement at 40. My girlfriend, well, ex-girlfriend now, Emma, 28, female, and I met about 8 months ago through a mutual friend at a barbecue. She was funny, gorgeous, had this infectious laugh that made everyone around her smile. We hit it off immediately. She worked as a dental hygienist, loved hiking, and seemed genuinely into me. We took things slow at first, but by month 3 we were pretty serious. Talking about moving in together, meeting each other's families, the whole 9 yards. Here's the thing about Emma that I didn't fully appreciate until later. She had a type, and that type was guys who look like they bench press trucks for fun. Her ex-boyfriend, Chad, yes, his actual fucking name was Chad, I can't make this shit up, was this 6'4" meathead who'd played college football and now worked as a personal trainer. Every photo she showed me from their relationship had him flexing somewhere. Beach? Flexing. Christmas with her family? Flexing. Funeral? Probably flexing. They dated for 3 years before breaking up about 6 months before she met me. According to Emma, Chad was too controlling and emotionally unavailable. Red flag number 1 that I completely ignored. She was still friends with him on social media. Not just friends, she liked every single one of his posts. The gym selfies, the protein shake promotions, the motivational quotes about grinding and hustling. All of it. Red flag number 2. She'd bring him up constantly. Oh, Chad used to love this restaurant. Chad would always order this drink. Chad had a truck just like that one. At first, I thought she was just processing the breakup, being transparent about her past. Real mature shit, right? Wrong. She was keeping him alive in her head, comparing me to him in ways I couldn't see yet. Red flag number 3, and this one should have sent me running. About 4 months in, we're at her place and her phone buzzes. She picks it up, smiles at whatever the message says, and I catch Chad's name on the screen before she tilts it away. When I ask about it, she goes, "Oh, he's just checking in. We're still cool, you know? No drama. Checking in. Right, because your ex-boyfriend who you dated for 3 years just casually checks in for no reason. Our first few months were great though, I'll give her that. We'd go on weekend trips, binge-watch shows, cook dinner together. She seemed happy. I was happy. My job was demanding, but I made time for her. I'd pick her up from work sometimes, bring her flowers, do all the relationship stuff you're supposed to do. She'd tell her friends I was such a catch, and nothing like her ex. I thought I'd won the lottery. Then came the comments. Little jabs disguised as jokes. We're at the gym together one Saturday and she goes, "You know, if you lifted heavier, you'd probably bulk up faster." Chad used to say consistency is key. I laughed it off, but it stung. Another time, we're having sex and afterwards she's like, "That was nice." Different from what I'm used to, but nice. Different how, Emma? Want to elaborate? There was this one time we went to a sports bar to watch a game. Some dude who looked like he played linebacker bumps into our table, apologizes, and Emma literally watches him walk away. I mean full-on neck crane, checking him out. When I call her on it, she goes, "What? I was just looking. He reminded me of someone. Yeah, I know who." The breaking point started about 2 months ago. We're at her place watching Netflix when she gets a text. I see Chad's name pop up on her phone. She grabs it quick, types something back, and then acts like nothing happened. I ask who it was, and she goes, "Just a friend from work." Lie number 1. This keeps happening over the next few weeks. Mystery texts she won't let me see. Phone calls she takes in another room. She starts going to the gym at weird hours, always coming back super energized. One night, I notice she's showered and put on makeup before hitting the gym at 8 p.m. for a workout. Right. I'm not an idiot, I know what's up. But I'm also not the jealous type, so I wait. Give her enough rope to hang herself, as they say. In my line of work, patience is everything. You don't move until you have all the pieces. So I watch, I wait, and I document the pattern. 3 weeks ago, Emma and I are having dinner at her place. I made spaghetti carbonara. Fucking nailed it, by the way. and we're talking about potentially getting an apartment together. She's been pushing for it, saying it makes financial sense. We're basically living together anyway, blah blah blah. Then she hits me with it. So, I know this might sound weird, but I think it would be good if Chad met you. I put my fork down. What? Like, just to make sure you're, good for me. He knows me really well. He'd be able to tell if you're the real deal or not. I stared at her. You want your ex-boyfriend to inspect me? Like I'm a used car? Don't be dramatic, she said, rolling her eyes. It's not like that. He's just protective of me. He wants what's best for me. If he approves, it'll make me feel more secure about us moving forward. Let me pause here and explain something. In my line of work, you learn real quick how to read people. Body language, tone, micro-expressions, all of it. And Emma? She was testing me. This wasn't about Chad approving of me. This was about seeing if I'd be intimidated by her ex. If I'd compete. If I'd prove myself worthy. Classic manipulation tactic. I've seen it 1,000 times in interrogation rooms. Create a hierarchy, put pressure on the target, see how they react. She wanted me to either get jealous and possessive, which would give her validation, or roll over and try to impress Chad, which would put her in a position of power. So I said, sure. When were you thinking? Her eyes lit up like Christmas morning. She wasn't expecting me to agree. She thought I'd get insecure, maybe jealous, definitely argue. But I just smiled and took another bite of pasta. Really? You're okay with it? Yeah. Why not? If it makes you feel better. I shrugged. Inside, I'm already planning 3 steps ahead. This is what we call in the Bureau controlled escalation. Let them think they're running the operation while you're actually setting the trap. She texted him right there at the table. Within 2 minutes, Chad responds, Bro, I've been telling her she needs to let me check you out. Tomorrow work? I'll bring the boys. The boys. Fucking perfect. Emma looked uncomfortable for the first time. He wants to bring his friends. Is that okay? Where does he want to meet? He said your work would be good. Around lunch. That way we can all grab food after if it goes well. My work. This motherfucker wanted to show up at my job with his crew to intimidate me in front of my colleagues. The disrespect was breathtaking. Beautiful even. It was such an obvious power play that I almost admired the audacity. Almost. Yeah, that's fine, I said. Tell him 12:30 tomorrow. Emma looked shocked but pleased. She immediately texted back confirming. I finished my pasta, cleaned up the kitchen, and went home. The whole drive back, I'm thinking about how this is about to play out. See, here's what Emma didn't know about my boring office job. I'm a special agent with the FBI, have been for 7 years. I work in the Criminal Investigative Division, specializing in organized crime and gang activity. The nondescript government building I work at, the J. Edgar Hoover building in downtown DC, my colleagues, other federal agents, my boss, the section chief, the papers I push, case files on some of the most dangerous criminals in the country. I'd kept my exact job details vague with Emma for security reasons, which is standard protocol. I told her I work in federal law enforcement, doing administrative stuff, which technically isn't a lie. She never asked follow-up questions. Most people don't. They hear government job, and their eyes glaze over. They assume DMV worker or some bureaucrat shuffling TPS reports. But tomorrow, Chad and his boys were about to get the full experience. The setup. I got to work at 7 a.m. the next day. First thing I did was talk to my supervisor, SSA, Supervisory Special Agent, Marcus Rivera. I've worked under Marcus for 3 years. Former Marine, built like a tank, no-nonsense attitude, and exactly the kind of guy you want backing you up. I explained the situation, showed him the texts between Emma and Chad, told him these guys were planning to show up at lunch to try to intimidate me. Marcus started laughing, like full belly laughing. Are you fucking kidding me? Dead serious. And she thinks you're just some pencil pusher? Apparently. He shook his head, still grinning. All right, let's have some fun with this. I'll make sure security knows they're coming. We'll let them in, but keep eyes on them the whole time. Want me in the room? Nah, I got it. But keep someone near the door just in case. You think Jimbro's gonna try something? No, but his ego might make him stupid. Marcus clapped me on the shoulder. This is going to be legendary. I'm telling everyone in the office. Please don't. Too late. Already sent the group chat. By 10 a.m., half my floor knew what was happening. People kept stopping by my desk making jokes. Agent Sarah Chen brought me coffee and said, I heard you're getting inspected by a personal trainer today. Should I stand by with my cuffs? Agent Williams, who's about 6 feet 3 inches and 240 pounds of pure muscle himself, offered to sit in the meeting just to watch. I declined but appreciated the support. I spent the morning working on case files, business as usual. Around 11:30, I get a text from Emma. Chad's on his way. He's bringing Marcus and Tyrell. They're all excited to meet you, different Marcus. Good to know, and Tyrell. These names, I swear. At 12:15, security calls my desk. Agent Matthews, you have visitors in the lobby. 3 males, mid to late 20s, asking for you. Send them up to conference room 4B. I'll meet them there. Conference room 4B is what we use for witness interviews and sometimes suspect questioning. It's got that institutional government feel. Plain walls, basic table and chairs, American flag in the corner, and one of those two-way mirrors that isn't actually functional anymore, but still makes people nervous. Perfect psychological setting. I grabbed my badge, the one with Federal Bureau of Investigation in big letters, and my photo next to Special Agent, and clipped it to my belt. Put on my suit jacket, the one with the FBI insignia embroidered inside that occasionally flashes when I move. Checked my appearance in the bathroom mirror. Professional, authoritative, not someone you fuck with. I walked down to the conference room. Through the window, I could see them. Chad was every bit the meathead I expected. Tank top showing off sleeve tattoos, gym shorts, backwards hat. His boys Marcus and Tyrell were dressed similarly. All 3 of them looked like they'd just come from a workout, probably intentionally to emphasize the physical difference between us. They were laughing about something, looking around at the government building with this smug amusement, like they were about to punk some beta male at his boring desk job. Chad was doing most of the talking, gesturing animatedly, probably running through their game plan, how they were going to intimidate me, what questions they'd ask, how they'd establish dominance. I watched them for a minute, studied their body language. Chad was the alpha of their group, sitting at the head of the table, legs spread wide, taking up space. Marcus and Tyrell were followers, laughing at Chad's jokes, mirroring his energy. Classic pack dynamics. I opened the door. Gentlemen, I'm Special Agent David Matthews. Thanks for coming down. The room went dead silent. All 3 of them stared at my badge. Chad's face, oh man, his face, went from smug to confused to slightly pale in about 3 seconds. That moment when your brain catches up to what you're seeing and realizes you fucked up, that was written all over him. Chad said. Special Agent? Yeah, FBI. Y'all want to sit down or are we doing this standing up? They sat. Real quick. The swagger completely evaporated. I stayed standing, leaning against the wall with my arms crossed. Power position. Dominate the room. I learned this from a hostage negotiator. Never sit when you want to maintain control. Staying on your feet keeps you mobile, alert, and psychologically superior. So Emma tells me you wanted to check me out, make sure I'm good enough for her. That about right? Chad cleared his throat. Suddenly, the tough guy act was gone. His voice came out a little shaky. I mean, yeah, I care about her. Want to make sure she's with someone who can take care of her. That's noble, I said. Real noble. Coming to a federal building with your boys to intimidate your ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend. Very protective. We weren't trying to... Save it. I pulled out my phone, opened up Emma's text thread, showed them the message. Chad wants to check you out at your work. He's bringing his friends. That's a coordinated intimidation tactic. You know what we call that here? They didn't answer. Tyrell looked like he wanted to dissolve into the floor. Depending on context and intent, it could be considered attempted intimidation of a federal officer. You know what we call that? More silence. A federal offense depending on how badly you fuck it up. Tyrell looked like he was about to shit himself. Marcus, Chad's Marcus, tried to recover. Look, man, we didn't mean anything by it. We were just what? Rolling up to a federal facility to try to punk an FBI agent? You know what happened the last time someone tried to intimidate a federal officer? I can show you the case file. Guys in Leavenworth doing 15 years. That was a bit of an exaggeration. That guy had done a lot more than just show up, but they didn't know that. Chad held up his hands. Okay, I get it. We fucked up. We didn't know you were FBI. Emma just said you worked in an office building. Emma doesn't know a lot of things, I said. Mostly because she never asked. But you thought you'd swing your dick around, show up with your boys, make me feel small. Maybe Emma would realize she downgraded from the big strong Chad to the boring office guy. That the play? His silence confirmed it. I let the quiet hang there for a moment. Another interrogation tactic. Let them stew in their own discomfort. People will fill silence with confessions if you wait long enough. Finally, I walked over to the window, looked out at the DC skyline. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to walk out of this building quietly. You're going to go home. And you're never going to contact Emma again. No texts, no calls, no showing up at her work or her apartment. You're going to disappear from her life completely. We're just friends. Not anymore, you're not. I turned back to face them. Because if I ever catch wind that you're still in her orbit, I'm going to start looking into your life very carefully. And trust me, I'm very good at finding things people don't want found. Tax issues, unpaid tickets, that DUI you think nobody knows about, all of it comes out. We clear? Chad's face went even paler at the DUI mention. Bingo. I was bluffing on that one, but his reaction told me I'd hit something. Chad nodded so fast I thought his head might fall off. Good. Security will escort you out. As if on cue, 2 uniformed security officers appeared at the door. Chad and his boys practically scrambled out of their seats. As they filed out, Chad turned back one more time. I'm sorry, man. Seriously, we were just trying to... I know exactly what you were trying to do. Now get the fuck out of my building! They left. I watched from the window as they practically jogged to Chad's lifted truck in the parking lot. All 3 of them kept looking back at the building like they expected sniper rifles to be pointed at them. Chad's hands were shaking so bad he dropped his keys twice before getting the door open. Marcus Rivera appeared in the doorway, still grinning. That was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I had 3 agents watching through the security cameras. Everyone's dying. Great. Now I'll never hear the end of this. Are you kidding? You're a legend. Jenkins wants to buy you lunch. Sarah said she's never seen someone shut down that fast. Thanks for the backup. Anytime. So what are you going to do about the girlfriend? About to find out. I waited about an hour before texting Emma. Wanted to see if Chad would contact her first. Sure enough, around 1:30, my phone rings. Emma. Hey, I answered, all casual. What the fuck did you do? There it is. What do you mean? Chad just called me freaking out. He said you're FBI? He said you threatened him? What the hell, David? He show up at my work? Yes, but with his boys? To intimidate me? He was just trying to meet you. At a federal building? With backup? Emma, how fucking stupid do you think I am? She went quiet. Here's what I think happened, I continued. I think you wanted to see if I'd be intimidated by your ex. You wanted to create some drama, maybe make me jealous. Definitely make me feel like I had to compete for your approval. Classic manipulation. Seen it 1,000 times. That's not... But you didn't count on me actually having a spine, or having any real authority. You thought I was some pushover with a boring government job who'd roll over when the big, strong ex-boyfriend showed up. How'd that work out? More silence. Chad and his boys just got read the riot act by a federal agent in a federal building. They're lucky I didn't have them arrested for attempting to interfere with a federal officer, which, by the way, I could have done. You're being dramatic, she finally said, but her voice was shaky. Am I? You literally sent your ex-boyfriend to inspect me. Do you understand how disrespectful that is? How fucked up that is? I just wanted to make sure... Make sure what? That I measured up to Chad? Newsflash, Emma. I'm not competing with your ex. I don't need his approval. I don't need anyone's approval. I'm a goddamn FBI agent. I investigate organized crime. I've taken down drug cartels and human trafficking rings. But none of that mattered to you because all you cared about was whether I could fill Chad's shoes. That's not fair. What's not fair is being in a relationship for 8 months with someone who's been comparing me to their ex the entire time. What's not fair is being set up for humiliation at my workplace. What's not fair is finding out my girlfriend values her ex-boyfriend's opinion more than my actual dignity. She started crying. Real or manipulative, I couldn't tell anymore. Didn't care either. We're done, Emma. Lose my number. I hung up. Blocked her immediately. Then I called my friend Mike, the one who suggested I post this story. Dude, I said when he picked up, you're not going to believe what just happened. Over the next week, the texts came rolling in. First from Emma, from different numbers since I'd blocked her. Please, can we talk? I made a mistake. I didn't mean for it to go like this. Chad was supposed to be nice. I don't know what happened. Then from Chad himself, from what I assume was a new number. Hey man, I'm really sorry about yesterday. I was way out of line. Just wanted to make sure Emma was good. No hard feelings, no response to any of them. Then Emma's friends started reaching out. Emma's really upset. She really cares about you. Don't you think you're overreacting? The typical flying monkeys trying to smooth things over. I sent one mass reply. Emma orchestrated a situation where her ex-boyfriend and his friends showed up at my federal workplace to intimidate me. That's not a misunderstanding. That's intentional disrespect. We're done. Stop contacting me. That shut most of them up. A couple tried to push back, saying I was being harsh or unforgiving. I just blocked them too. Anyone who thinks trying to have me intimidated at my job is something I should get over doesn't deserve access to my life. The really satisfying part came about 2 weeks later. I was grabbing coffee at this shop near my apartment when I ran into one of Emma's friends, Jessica. She looked uncomfortable when she saw me, but came over anyway. "Hey, David," she said. "Look, I know things ended badly, but Emma wanted me to tell you she's really sorry. She realizes she fucked up." "That right?" "Yeah. She's been a mess since you guys broke up. She really misses you." "Interesting. She missed me or she missed having someone who wasn't Chad?" Jessica looked confused. "What do you mean? I mean, did Emma ever actually like me? Or was I just a placeholder while she kept Chad in her back pocket? Because from where I'm standing, she spent 8 months treating me like the understudy while the lead actor was on break." Jessica didn't answer right away, which told me everything. "Here's the thing," I said. "Emma had 8 months to treat me with respect. 8 months to make me feel valued. Instead, she spent that time comparing me to her ex, keeping him around emotionally, and ultimately trying to orchestrate some fucked up power play at my workplace. That's not someone who cares about me. That's someone who cares about control. She didn't mean... Yes, she did. Everything she did was intentional. And now that it blew up in her face, she's sorry. Not sorry for disrespecting me, not sorry for the setup, just sorry she got caught and lost control of the situation." Jessica sighed. "For what it's worth, I think she really did care about you. She just has issues with Chad. They have history. Not my problem anymore," I said. "She can work that out in therapy." I left before Jessica could say anything else. The real ending. Here's where the story gets even better. About a month after the breakup, I'm scrolling through Instagram. Yeah, I kept tabs on her, sue me, and I see Emma posted something. It's a long caption about learning to value yourself and not settling for men who don't see your worth. The comments are full of her friends gassing her up. "You deserve better, queen." His loss. "He couldn't handle a strong woman." I screenshot it and send it to Mike. "Can you fucking believe this?" Mike responds, "Bro, she's rewriting history. Classic move. You're the villain now in her story." He was right. In Emma's version of events, I was probably the controlling boyfriend who couldn't handle her having male friends. The insecure guy who freaked out when her totally innocent friend, who happens to be her ex, wanted to meet me. The psycho who threatened everyone and played the FBI card like an asshole. Whatever helps her sleep at night. The truth is, I dodged a bullet. 8 months with Emma taught me a lot about recognizing manipulation tactics, about not ignoring red flags, about valuing myself enough to walk away when someone disrespects you. It taught me that sometimes people will test you, not because they want to know if you'll fight for them, but because they want to keep you destabilized and competing for their attention. About 3 months after the breakup, I matched with this woman, Sarah, on Hinge. She's a prosecutor, understands the demands of law enforcement work, and most importantly, doesn't have any exes lurking in the background trying to inspect me. Our first date, she asked what I did for work, and when I told her FBI, she thought it was badass. Didn't immediately start comparing me to her ex-boyfriend, or suggest I prove myself to anyone. We've been dating for 6 months now, and it's been refreshingly drama-free. Turns out relationships are a lot easier when both people actually respect each other. When neither person is keeping their ex on standby as a backup plan, or an ego boost. When you can just exist together without constant tests and power plays. Sarah actually thinks the whole Chad story is hilarious. I told her about it on our 3rd date, expecting her to maybe think I overreacted. Instead, she said, "Good. Anyone who sets their partner up for humiliation like that deserves to get dumped." Then she ordered another drink and asked about my most interesting cases. That's when I knew she was a keeper. As for Chad and his boys, last I heard through the grapevine, Chad tried to text Emma a few weeks after the incident. She was still hoping they'd get back together. He ghosted her. Apparently, having your wannabe intimidation tactics shut down by a federal agent makes you rethink rekindling things with your ex. His ego couldn't handle that he'd been made to look like a bitch in front of his friends by the average guy Emma had been dating. Emma ended up moving to a different part of the city, changed jobs, scrubbed most of her social media. I don't know if she learned anything from this experience, but I hope she did, for her next boyfriend's sake. One of my buddies from the bureau, who's friends with someone in Emma's social circle, told me she went through a phase where she was telling everyone I'd abused my authority and threatened innocent people. The story got back to my supervisor, who pulled me aside to ask about it. I showed him the full text thread with Emma, explained the situation, and he laughed his ass off. "Matthews, If every agent who told off their girlfriend's douchebag ex was abusing authority, we'd have no agents left. You're fine. Keep me posted if she escalates, though. She didn't escalate, probably because any actual investigation would have revealed that she orchestrated the whole thing, and Chad showed up voluntarily to try to intimidate a federal officer. Last month, a full 6 months after the breakup, I got one final message from Emma. Different number again. Must have been her third or fourth attempt to contact me. I know you probably won't read this, but I need to say it. You were right about everything. Chad was never going to be what I needed. I used you to make him jealous, and it was wrong. I'm sorry. I hope you're happy. I stared at that message for a long time. Part of me wanted to respond, to tell her that apologies 6 months later don't mean shit, that saying you were right doesn't undo the disrespect, that I was happy, happier than I'd been with her, and she didn't get to know anything about my life anymore. But I didn't send any of that. Instead, I just deleted the message and blocked the number. Because here's the thing, Emma didn't send that message for me. She sent it for herself, to ease her guilt, to feel like she'd done the right thing by apologizing, to close that chapter on her terms. But I'd already closed it. The second she suggested her ex-boyfriend inspect me, the story was over. Everything after that was just epilogue. Some people will test you to see if you'll bend. When you don't, when you stand your ground and show them exactly who you are, they can't handle it. They expect you to fight for them, to prove yourself, to compete for scraps of their approval. But the real power move? Walking away, knowing your worth and not entertaining their bullshit for another second. I'm an FBI agent. I've stared down cartel members, interviewed serial killers, and negotiated with terrorists. You think I'm going to be intimidated by some gym bro and his friends? You think I'm going to compete for the approval of someone who doesn't even respect me enough to be honest? Nah, that's not how I operate. Emma wanted to play games. She found out I don't play. I just flip the board and walk away. And Chad? Chad learned a valuable lesson that day in the conference room. Don't try to intimidate someone when you have no idea who they really are. You might end up getting ethered by a federal agent who's had more than enough of everyone's bullshit. Update. For those asking if I ever heard from Chad again. Nope. Radio silence. Last I heard, he's moved on to bothering some other girl's boyfriend. Good luck to that guy. As for Emma, I saw on mutual friends' social media that she's dating someone new. Some finance bro. No idea if she pulled the same inspection stunt on him. Not my circus, not my monkeys anymore. I'm good. Sarah's good. Life's good. And that's really all that matters. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's just living well and letting the trash take itself out. Sarah and I are actually talking about moving in together soon. Her lease is up in a few months, and we basically live together already anyway. The difference? When we talk about it, there's no games, no tests, no, let me run this by my ex first. Just two adults making adult decisions. That's what a real relationship looks like. Not whatever the fuck I had with Emma. Peace out, Reddit. Remember, never tolerate disrespect. Never compete for basic respect. And if someone wants to test you, show them exactly what you're made of, and then show them the door. And maybe don't try to intimidate federal agents. Just a life tip. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up